back to another episode of Spicing Things Up. It is your boy, Jacob Benson. Joining me here is the fantastic, spectacular Brennan Merkel. How you doing today, Brennan?
Jacob, I am doing pretty good. It's finally kind of a warm day here in Lincoln. Unfortunately, I think that will be short-lived as it's going to be down towards zero this weekend. But hey, what do we got this weekend? We got some good stuff coming, so we're excited. We're excited today to talk about some stuff.
Getting into that, does anybody else hear something? Maybe it's the super crisp and almost orgasmic audio that's coming through this, because Brennan and I are officially in studio. We're pumped. And not on camera yet. Had some issues with some SD cards, some technical stuff. But
Jacob, your voice sounds like McDonald's Sprite right now.
See, that's a compliment, in my opinion.
100%, just absolutely crisp.
Thank you. All right. Also, Brennan, something new in my life that I think needs to be addressed. So, I invested in Dogecoin last week. I am officially a venture capitalist.
One of those guys.
Yes. We are taking Doge to the moon. I bought probably 200 plus shares over the last few weeks, which is chump change. It really is, because it's like 3 cents, less than 3 cents a share right now.
Sure.
So right now I'm plummeting, right? I'm losing a lot of money doing this. But kids listening at home, if you're 18 or older, put your net worth into that stock. Let's see it go up. Like I said, we're getting some red lines up here. So I just needed to bring that up.
We are not financial advisors. I am not endorsing that. So we just throwing that out there. Do that on your own accord.
I'm an aspiring financial advisor. I've seen Ozark. I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street. All right. I am what they say. What am I looking for here? I'm a network of financial advice.
Do you realize that we are degenerately telling people what to bet on sports games and gamble their money on?
We're over 500.
I mean, yeah, that is true. That's a fair point, but I don't think we have the authority to, give out this type of advice,
Okay, fine. Invest in Dogecoin. Brennan, we had some pretty interesting stuff happen the last couple of days too. So let's put
within what realm are we speaking here?
Right now, NBA. We're gonna
kicking it into sports.
Kicking it into sports. We're gonna switch gears. Sorry about that. LeBron James is canceled.
He's canceled.
LeBron James, we are coming after you.
I don't think he's canceled. I think he canceled somebody else.
He may have canceled somebody else, but Brennan, that is a 38-year-old professional athlete calling them some guy and his wife dumb bitches at her courtside seat. I don't know if they were taunting him or
100%. You don't think they were just heckling? There's nothing that would not warrant if it wasn't serious. I don't think LeBron would have addressed it. You know what I mean? But I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, compared to stuff he's heard, it probably wasn't that bad. But I mean, there's no fans in these stadiums. I'm sure their words echoed. And if I see this, 60-year-old sleazeball, steroid-looking man with this...
Mr. Steroid. Exactly, we got to talk about Mr. Steroid.
With his 25-year-old girlfriend, that courtside Karen girlfriend, which is what LeBron referred to her as, which I thought was pretty funny. But
is Karen a derogatory term? Can we ask these questions now? Because what about the real, people that are named Karen out there?
So I know some Karens, and they aren't like that. So it's definitely it has probably caused some repercussions for them. But I think it's funny, and it's the whole manager speak to the manager mom haircut look is just classic.
If I see anybody get that haircut, we're not friends.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, that probably isn't going to happen because we're seniors in college. And right now it's kind of I'd say long hair with blue and green highlight streaks is kind of what's in now. Oh, should I get those?
I think you should. I think you should get frosted tips.
You know what? Okay. I've been thinking about the bleach and the frosted tips. I definitely think I could definitely pull that off. And you know what? At Walmart,
Jacob is also wearing his jean jacket as we speak.
Dude, you can make a Seinfeld episode off this jacket. You know what? I'll create a Seinfeld episode right now before we get anything else. Jared gets a jean jacket from a relative, and he hates wearing it because all of his friends and relatives all of his friends and his people that are in his posse make fun of him for it. But he goes out in public and everybody loves him. He starts getting girls and guys want to be him, want to be his friends.
Don't you have a girlfriend?
I'm doing something else here.
Doing a bit.
Yeah, and George gets super jealous and pays Jerry a very large lump of sum of money for that jacket, and then so he gives it to George. George goes out and he's still hated by everybody. End scene. I just made that up. That's what you can do.
All right, that was something.
I could go to writing school.
Hey, well, speaking of LA, nothing to do with sports, this one, but did you see that someone vandalized the Hollywood sign and made it read
Holly Boob?
Holly Boob. Yep.
That reminds me of that BoJack Horseman episode. Never seen it?
No.
You're giving me that look. All right. That's still pretty funny, though. I mean,
It was.
That's just such a California thing to do, I feel like.
It's an act of art.
It is an act of art, and I just don't think people see life the way the rest of us do over there. California is its own world, man.
Dude, they are. And sometimes, you're jealous that they get to live where they are. Sometimes you're like, oh, thank God I don't live over there. But,
Exactly.
But all right, let's get into some NFL news. Something kind of crazy went down within the trade realms of the NFL this weekend. The Detroit Lions traded Matt Stafford to the LA Rams for Jared Goff, along with 2 first-round picks and 1 third-rounder.
Such an awful trade, in my opinion.
I see in what way? For who?
For Goff.
For Goff?
Because, first of all, Matt Stafford's up there in age.
He's a beast, though.
He is a beast, but you can't exactly blame every single Lions bad season. So, I mean, you can't credit him to any good things the Lions have done in their time. Or not. Okay. You can credit him, but not to everything. Not the way that people credit Aaron Rodgers for the 7 wins out of the last 15 playoff appearances. But yeah, I really think Jared Goff kind of got screwed here. And I actually,
100%.
The memes about it have been so good. It's literally like anything that has to do with imprisonment or just getting dragged somewhere against your will, and that is Jared Goff. That is the embodiment of this trade right now.
See, I do feel bad for Jared Goff because Detroit is not one of those.
That's not a city you want to go play football in.
No.
Compared to LA.
No, I mean, but I do think both teams are winners here for if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, because I mean, Rams are still they're getting a very good underrated quarterback, Matt Stafford. Lions still get 2 first-round picks
and Jared Goff.
Third, and then they still get a starting quarterback back. So I mean, that's kind of a crazy amount to give up if you're the Rams, in my opinion. But I mean, and I saw somewhere that the Rams so Jared Goff was taken first round in 2016.
Right.
That was their last first-round pick that they had. And giving up these, they now do not, because they traded some for Jalen Ramsey, they do not have a first-round pick until 2024. So that's 8 years without a first-round pick. So that kind of sucks as a Rams fan.
That does suck. And I'm guessing Sean McVay at this point is just desperate to have a good season again.
I mean, if you know what you
want,
want,
the lengths
you go
where
out
you
and
want
get
to
it.
get rid of Goff for Stafford, I feel like there's something that we're not seeing.
And did I not call that last week, 2 weeks ago? I said McVay does not like Goff, or I had a feeling. I was like, he wants a different quarterback. I think I said more mobile, which I mean, Stafford is, I would say they're on kind of equal levels of mobile, but I do think Stafford is better. And I think the Rams, honestly, they just became legitimate contenders. Once they have a confident quarterback that can make plays down the field, I mean, they've got incredible wide receivers. They've got a good offense. I think this was the last missing piece for the Rams that I think next year they could make a strong push in the NFC.
We will have to see.
We will have to see. I saw Stafford, though. He came out and said the one team that he didn't want to get traded to. Can you guess?
The Patriots.
Yep, because of Matt Patricia.
And yeah, I saw that, and I feel like New England is one of those teams where playing on it's already statistically the hardest team to ever play for, just because I would say of just Bill Belichick and just the way that team is ran.
It's definitely, you've heard the stories. It's a tough environment compared to some other teams, not as lax as some.
No, not at all. So now that that's over with, Deshaun Watson.
Speaking of quarterbacks,
Deshaun Watson, where will you go? So, Brennan, I want a very quick list from you right now.
Okay.
What are your 3 teams you think he's going?
So we know because of his no trade clause that he kind of has a say in it. And there's been rumors, but...
Which, by the way, that's a power move by a quarterback to get a no trade clause.
I love it. I love it. Okay, but here's my list. I'll go from I'll go from bottom to top to keep the suspense going. So the New York Jets, although I really would hate this look, but it would be funny to see the Patriots be the worst team in their division now. But I think the idea of the Jets getting him makes sense. They got a young team, a lot of draft picks. Number 2, the Miami Dolphins. I know there was a lot of talk between them and Tua.
benching Tua.
Yep, or trading Tua, I think, to the Texans. Because I don't know. I still think the sample size for Tua was small, but they might have seen enough from him. And then my number 1 pick, due to a recent endorsement from Michael Vick, is Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Okay. Well, do you want mine?
Yeah.
Okay. So mine are actually kind of different.
Okay.
I'm thinking, so at least 2 of my picks, he's going to stay south.
Okay.
But, okay, so my first pick, I'm guessing possibly Minnesota.
I know they have been in quarterback talks with possibly moving, Kirk Cousins around.
Yeah. And then my second one would be Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, I have seen that one.
And then last but not least, NOLA.
Really?
Yeah. Drew Brees just retired. They're definitely not putting Taysom Hill as a starting quarterback. And Jameis Winston, I just don't think they want him starting for a whole season.
Yeah.
And with Deshaun Watson's talent, one, he's local.
Yeah.
And 2, I just really think he could outperform any other potential quarterback for that team. Because they're obviously going to have they're not going to have a great draft pick with their season.
Yeah.
Being as good as it was. So I definitely see Watson probably staying somewhere in the Southeast.
See, that would be interesting. Do you think there's any chance that he returns to Houston?
Not while the current GM is. Well, current GM is replaced also.
Yeah, and they just hired their new head coach, David Culley,
Right.
who actually came out and said he was the only reason he took the job was because Deshaun Watson. He believed Deshaun would come back, but.
Okay.
I think the David Culley hire is like one of the worst things that could have happened for Deshaun, because not only is he the oldest NFL first-time head coach hire in history at 65 years old, he is the oldest guy that has never been a head coach hired to be a head coach. And then coming from being the Ravens wide receiver coach, who last year had one of the worst passing attacks in the league, and I also just figured something out. I saw this as well. Do you remember the season that the Chiefs went the whole season without throwing a single wide receiver touchdown?
Yeah, that was with Dwayne Bowe was still on the team, if I remember correctly.
Do you know who the Chiefs wide receiver coach was?
Not off the top of my head. I was
David Culley.
Okay.
And
I could have guessed.
And so I was trying to set you up there, but So I think it's one of the worst hirings that the Texans could have made to try and retain Deshaun. I think he's gone for sure.
Well, I think it all went downhill, at least with Deshaun, as soon as Hopkins got traded to Arizona.
Absolutely.
I think that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in this scenario here.
I agree. I mean, you can't try and keep a quarterback after, expending
Your target
all his options.
receivers.
Yeah.
For what? David Johnson?
Yeah. And I mean, to go off of how accomplished Deshaun is, how good he is, he led the league in passing yards this season with Will Fuller, his top receiver, being out half the year because of he got suspended some games for PEDs or something. So he was literally throwing to you and me out there, and he led the league in yards. But I mean, the record was bad, but there's not much you can do.
I want to give Houston fans hope for possibly at least assurance that after this year it's going to be a rebuilding time for them.
Yeah.
Because JJ Watt is going to be there.
He might be gone too. He was voicing his disinterest in Houston. If Deshaun's gone, I think JJ Watt is gone for sure, which they're losing their 2 biggest names on their team.
Damn.
Well, if you were JJ Watt, would you want to stay on the Houston? They haven't given you anything.
City is the thing, though. He has done so much for the city of Houston and just the southeast area.
Yeah, which is why I think if he leaves, they're not going to
That's the same reason I wouldn't think Patrick Mahomes would ever leave Kansas City.
Well, he's also a billionaire because of it. Which I mean, JJ Watt, he donates a lot of his stuff, unlike Patrick Mahomes. I'm just kidding. I can't prove that. So
Yeah, shut up. He's investing in Hunt's ketchup.
oh my gosh, I would be surprised. He probably is like a spokesperson for Hunt's Ketchup, honestly.
I haven't seen any commercials yet. Or what about Head and Shoulders with Troy Polamalu or Polamalu?
Yeah, true. Speaking of Head and Shoulders, did you see that the Chiefs today had to like suspend their team
Yeah,
barber?
mid-cut, they pulled him out of it. And like, imagine being the guy in
Oh
the
my
chair when the barber
gosh.
gets pulled out for testing positive for COVID-19. That would be the most embarrassing, but like just what the F moment.
Kansas City might imprison that man for
They
like
won't imprison.
for like attempted like murder on these guys. Like,
Watch him be
what
like
if
a-
he was planted by like?
Dude,
Brady?
I was just about to bring
I
it
knew
up.
you were gonna say that.
You just, see, this is what sucks about us being in person now is Brennan can literally just read what my lips are about.
we
to
just
say.
have similar minds,
Yeah,
you know.
but no, he's like he's a double agent for the Bucks. Well, see, I already told you, Spygate's going to be a thing.
There's no doubt people are going to spin that on like Tom Brady, Tampa Bay, trying to implement or like plant this guy.
And I will retweet everything I see about it.
If they lose, it's because of that.
Exactly. That is
It goes in their head.
They have hidden cameras and microphones in the stadium. So
And their haircuts were affecting their play. So
yeah,
since they couldn't get their haircuts, then they were
I
gonna
was
lose.
actually I got ESPN pulled up my laptop here, and I was actually looking at that right as you
Really?
were about to bring that up. Yeah. All right, Brennan. Let's move on to the Pro Bowl.
Oh yeah.
So we had an interesting Pro Bowl this year. For those that didn't see it, it was through Madden. So that was pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure most people don't see it anyways, but this year was probably
I've never been like a Pro Bowl supporter.
it was cool to see players actually trying the Pro Bowl for once for sure because, you know,
Yeah, just with different parts of their body.
it was in Madden.
Yeah.
So, you know, they had a couple of their Pro Bowl selections and come play against each other, NFC versus AFC. They drafted, or not even drafted, they were given the players that made the Pro Bowl on their rosters. And did you see some of the people they invited to play with them?
No.
Snoop Dogg was one, and Marshawn Lynch was one.
Wasn't Marshawn Lynch still in the NFL?
I don't think
Did he retire again?
he isn't in the NFL anymore.
Okay,
No.
we just didn't know.
But I mean, those are two of like the most high like profile names, like funny guys that you could probably get on.
Or at least the biggest personalities
Exactly.
revolving around
And
everything.
Exactly. So it probably helped some of their viewership as well. But I did see Marshawn complete a pass to DeAndre Hopkins. And then he goes, Deshaun, because Deshaun was one of the people playing. He goes, Deshaun, there's your guy. And everyone started like cracking up. And I'm sure that made Deshaun feel like shit. Or maybe it was foreshadowing Deshaun to the Cardinals. You never know.
They're not getting rid of Kyler yet.
Kyler to the Texans.
No.
I'm just saying that to piss off Cardinals fans. But no, I don't know.
You live with one. Or you used to.
I used to.
Okay, no,
And,
yeah. But
yeah.
come on, man. We're here for everybody.
I know. No, I was just stirring the pot there. They would be kind of foolish because that would just be an insane amount of money that they'd have to give up, pay Deshaun when they, as of right now, you know, Kyler, they wouldn't have to give up anything to retain Kyler. They just have to pay him. But yeah, no, interesting Pro Bowl for sure. After a year of a lot of things going online, it kind of made sense. But speaking of video games,
NCAA. EA Sports. It's in the game. Yeah, I'm so pumped, dude. And here's the thing. So I've been seeing actually. So I remember you. So you had a question earlier that you wanted to ask me. So you can go ahead. Like, why don't you ask that real quick? Because I want to hear this.
Yeah, so we'll explain first. Like the NCAA is releasing a new college football video game that
Oh yeah, I
hasn't,
could have started with that.
they haven't played. It hasn't been released. The new one hasn't been released since
2014.
2014.
So I guess the year would have been 2013 because they always come out with the newest game.
Yeah, the video games that stole the hearts of the nation. So
Yeah,
I
which
think
people still play to this day over Madden because of just
exactly,
franchise
dude.
and
It's
stuff like that.
it's long overdue, and I think after the past year we've had, dude, we deserve this.
Yeah.
we deserve to spoil ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, and so you had a question.
Yeah. So this is it could be a loaded question, but we're all about the takes here. So
I think that term is trademarked, actually.
okay, my bad. But so there's this whole kind of revolving discussion around this game coming back, based on whether EA is going to use the names, jersey numbers of the current players on the college teams, but whether or not the players should get compensated for having their, likeness broadcasted in a video game, allowing people to play, as them,
Right.
like Madden players get paid for.
Yeah, because they're all part of the players union.
Yeah.
But I do remember there was a Supreme Court ruling a few years back about like image and likeness and stuff, as far as like media, such as like Xbox and or just even games like this. But I've also been seeing like new legislation going to be passed possibly
Within the next few months.
Regarding that. But hell, dude, even if if that doesn't get passed, make the game anyway and just don't have. You can even I don't know, would numbers still be likeness?
Same numbers, probably. They would probably not be able to.
What if it's just like a range between like a span of 5 numbers per player, like where their jersey number is?
I mean, yeah, I don't think I think it literally, as long as it's not the actual number of the starter, they can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Like, I know people who in the past in those NCAA games, they went in and literally changed everyone's name and number to what it was. So
those people are really good at their jobs, but legally speaking, I have to condemn their actions.
Exactly. So, but what do you think, just on the general topic, do you think that like college athletes should be paid based on their likeness? Not just.
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Because one, like, I would consider football post high school a job. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're branding for the university and you're able to bring such, so for instance, we go to Nebraska, our athletic department is the biggest source of income for this university. And that's not just because
of expenditures as well.
Exactly.
So.
The biggest expenditures, like hell, you can't donating to the Nebraska athletic department is donating to its own private entity. The same money. So say if you want to just donate to the school, you can't even go through the general fund because the athletic department's its own thing. But the players should get paid though, because a lot of the Power 5 schools, their football department is what brings in the biggest amount of revenue. So, and them not exactly being able to have jobs on the side just because it's practice this, team meeting that, all this other stuff that they're doing constantly for the program, they should get a little piece of the pie. You know what I mean?
So what do you for the people that might argue they're going to school on a scholarship or something? What would you argue against that?
And that too. And I would say this, pay the player based off how much money they're bringing into your school. If you're going to go that route, because obviously people like quarterbacks and receivers and running backs and, key defensive players, they're going to be bringing in a lot more money than other players, depending on their skill level. So I think that whichever players are bringing it, that you can market from, and you're going to use their image and likeness regardless through social media and other sorts of advertising.
Yeah.
Pay those guys.
If
you're going to use them in the media at all, they deserve to be compensated. That's all I'm going to say.
And so like you mentioned, Nebraska athletics, or just specific players that, hold kind of their university's image with it. You think of players kind of like Zion Williamson at Duke, who literally
our national,
yeah, he changed the program. There were national eyes on their games every single time they played just because of him. And
you couldn't go a week without hearing about the Duke game.
Oh, no, absolutely not. So, I mean, do you know how much money that probably brought to the program? So much.
Exactly. It's not even just the basketball program itself was making that money. It's the school too. Yeah. Because how many kids do you think wanted to go to Duke University to
go see Zion,
just to see the
or Lamar Jackson when he went to Louisville?
Yeah, exactly.
Who would want to go there other than to see Lamar Jackson play football?
But it's 5-star athletes.
Yeah. So who's to say he wasn't secretly compensated for anything? But I mean, the point is that it shouldn't be secretive. Especially for these generational guys like Zion, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson. There's obviously probably female athletes out there too who are the faces of their college athletics, but
especially our volleyball team here, for instance.
Yeah, they're the best program athletically right now and most dominant. So they're carrying right now. So I mean, hopefully this game is a step in the right direction because I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to play the hell out of it, and even though it's on next gen console only, which kind of sucks.
I'm down bad now. That just ruined my night. No, but I was going to say. I don't even care how great the quality of the game is itself.
It should be pretty good.
It should be good considering it's going to be coming out in 2021, 2022.
2022, yeah, I think.
Yeah. And I just want the game. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, dude.
I might even
I'm
consider
gonna bring
investing
Nebraska
in
back to glory. We're gonna win back to back natty championships.
on Road to Glory.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually have a buddy that does Road to Glory he does a new one probably every 4 days.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat Ohio State just into the dirt every single college football playoffs, every Big Ten matchup.
What are you going to turn encroaching off and just get like your D lineman to stand in the backfield and sack Justin Fields every
I'm
play?
definitely gonna turn off targeting calls. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because those are one of those calls like holding where you can't control any of it, but it just happens, and then you end up losing like your best, like especially if you're targeting, you end up losing your best players.
Any hit stick you do is just going to be a targeting call in the game. That'd be actually hilarious, though.
Yeah.
It'd be realistic.
It would be. Get like Nate, like put like a Nate Jerry in there, or Nate Gary.
Nate Gary.
Nate Gary.
I mean, I don't think he'll be in the game anymore.
No. But you like just create a character that's basically Nate Gary.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I like it.
All right, so that's the NCAA game. We're looking forward to it. Brennan, Super Bowl LV
Time for the
coming
steak
to us
and
on Sunday
potatoes.
at 5:30 Central Time.
Ooh, are you getting nervous?
I'm a little bit nervous because history is saying the Chiefs will likely lose just because it's so hard to repeat as Super Bowl champs. But the Patriots have done it, right?
They have. I mean, this isn't the Patriots, but Tom Brady has done it. And I know what you mean. They've won 2 in a row. But what are we looking at? The Chiefs are favored still.
The Chiefs are in fact favored. Tom Brady's foul ploys to get them out of the game his plans have foiled miserably.
Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, literally the COVID bombinator.
Oh my God.
No, but I'm looking forward to seeing this dude. Honestly, like watching. So Tom Brady is going to go down. Like objectively speaking here, Tom Brady is going to go down as the greatest quarterback to ever walk the face of the earth.
Oh, 100%.
And watching, I know I probably talked about this on last week's show, but watching the new face of the NFL, like Patrick Mahomes, like play this dude, and like this is going to be nothing like last year.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, honestly, sorry to all you Niners fans, I couldn't have like cared less about Jimmy Garoppolo and Patrick Mahomes going out in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And you know what? It's already way more interesting because one, advertisements are completely different this year. A lot of those big brands are going to be like putting up sponsors because I mean, well, one, people are still going to be talking about them because the fact that they're not doing a commercial is news.
Yep.
And they're trying to quote unquote give small businesses a chance to kind of get their name out there. Which, if that's the case, that's respectful. But still, okay. So about the game itself, Sammy Watkins wants to come back and play.
Antonio Brown's back for the Bucs.
Antonio Brown is also back. So this is going to be a pretty fun watch. I'm going to stay sober. I'm going to stay sober and watch this. I almost choked my own thought right there.
I'm going to be drunk off wings, I think. That's for sure.
And if the game goes the wrong direction, he's going to be drunk off my tears.
Yep. God,
wings sounds so good for that.
I'm telling you, I've been thinking about it all week.
Yeah. See, I almost am in like Nirvana state as a fan.
Dude, I mean, I don't blame you. I would be in the same way if my team made the Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
We'll see. Okay. Coming from a Chiefs fan. So there's toxic fanship.
You're a fan of Chiefs?
Yeah. So there's toxic fanship, which is where my category resides. And then as your team keeps winning and winning in the playoffs and it gets higher, that toxicity becomes almost blissful. Like you're in your own perpetual state of consciousness.
Then you just become ignorant to all of your...
Exactly.
Which I know a lot of people who are like that, and it's
New Year's resolutions are coming back. I'm going to, like...
It's February.
I know. But they're supposed to be for at least the year, Beamer.
You're right. Usually people don't start them until like February anyway.
Yeah, that's also a good point to bring up, so thank you for doing that. But you know what? Yeah, I do think... I think the Chiefs are still going to win just because of the just raw talent and how this offense is built around specific players. And even when those specific players can't perform and they're given like chances over and over again. But, you know, the Chiefs are just such an adaptable team.
They are, as proven by 2 weeks ago. They played a very adaptive game against the Bills. The line is still -3 in favor of the Chiefs. The over-under is 56.5 points. What do you see? I will ask your opinions on this because although I do think the Chiefs are going, I think I would pick the Chiefs to win. I am going to restrain from betting on the overall outcome of the games. We are going to talk about some prop bets in a second, but what do you think about, the line and the over-under?
I think the line's at a good set right now because looking at
It's
a line
basically
of three,
50-50 is what
it's
they're saying.
basically 50-50.
Yeah.
Because what team, like unless there's like safeties and stuff like that, what team or just missed points, like which team's ever won by less than 3 points,
Yeah.
So I'm going to take okay, so are we doing prop bets first before we get into the actual?
Yeah, no, we could actually, let's hit on the big picture first.
Okay, I'm going to take a Chiefs cover, Chiefs money line under 56.
Under 56.5, okay. So I'm not going to tell you who I think is going to win.
Because you think it's the Bucks?
No,
Oh?
I don't necessarily think so.
You just don't want to...
I want to remain neutral.
Okay.
And
Oh, I thought you just didn't want to like feel the fire or something.
No.
I can't be impartial here. Like this is
yeah,
it's
no,
impossible.
I know you can't. But I do think 56.5 points is a lot. But at the same time, I could see it being like a 34-31, 34-28.
Shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So at the same time, I think that over is looking pretty nice, and I will probably revolve some of my prop bet picks around it as well.
Okay.
So that being said,
Respectable.
Do you want it to? We're looking at FanDuel prop bets, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we've built some of these off of. So these bets are solely coming from FanDuel along with the lines and values. So let's hear your first one.
I'll do game props instead of like the game ones.
Okay. Well, so what are you thinking?
Or send the player ones. Okay, so I'm thinking the coin toss result.
Oh yeah.
That's always a fun one.
I saw what the line at that is pretty even, which I think is incredible value because
So it's a 50-50.
tails never fails. So
Tails never fails. Okay, I'm going to go against you and say head, so at least one of us is right.
all right, I think you're gonna eat those words.
All right, do you think the coin toss is going to be correct or wrong?
I think it's gonna be wrong if it's heads, right if it's tails.
Okay, I don't know what to do here. I think it's going to be correct if it's heads and incorrect if it's tails.
All right, that's fair.
I'm going to create my own little prop bet here. Let's do national anthem. Over under 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Do they not have that on there?
I didn't see it anywhere.
Okay, I'm sure there's probably because who's singing the national anthem? Do we even know that?
It's not the weekend.
It's it's not the weekend. Here, I am going to look that
Could
up.
you imagine
Actually,
the
you look
weekend?
that up real quick while I do my first player prop bet, which is an actual prop bet that is on FanDuel. So if the listeners want some good ideas, I did some research into it. Most receptions match bet, they had Leonard Fournette up against Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And Fournette, I chose Fournette, minus 240. Brady loves checking down to his running backs. I think so far in the playoffs, these type of throws have accounted for like more than 30% of his passing attempts. Plus, I think CEH is still coming off an injury, and Darrell Williams, he looked not too bad last weekend. I think he earned some touches after the last game, and Le'Veon could dig into that too. I think Fournette will catch more passes than CEH does in this game. So,
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And as far as national anthem singer, the Wi-Fi in our studio is garbage, so
Okay.
I can't find it. But
Can't
you know
find
what?
it.
Yeah, let's go with that over under 1 minute and 9 seconds.
minute and 9 seconds. What do you think on that?
I'm gonna guess under.
Under? Let's see. I'm seeing if I could figure it out real quick.
This is bad radio.
Who is singing the national anthem? So, America the Beautiful by Grammy Award-winning artist, Her.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, let's see.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, so I'm not. The national anthem will be preceded by that. Oh, okay. All right, so looked it up. National anthem is actually going to be a duet performed by Grammy-nominated artists Jasmine Sullivan and country singer Eric Church.
Okay, I'm going to switch mine to the over.
I think the over is going to happen, whatever it is, because duets normally, might take a little bit longer. You got two sides trying to get their notes out. It's like a voice competition,
Yeah, and one of them's a country singer. And they hold notes for days.
He's probably going to be blasted, he might forget.
He's drinking PBRs in the parking lot.
He's going to pull a Bradley Cooper from Star is Born. He's just going to puke all over himself.
That's pretty funny.
I would do the same thing.
Or Blake Shelton.
Yeah, exactly.
Being himself.
Luke Bryan. I mean, it goes the list goes on. These guys are always hammered. So I think the over is looking good there.
Okay.
All right. So next prop bet I got is that Mahomes to throw a second quarter touchdown. And I chose yes, which is minus 145.
Okay.
Did a little research on this one. According to teamrankings.com, the Chiefs have the best second quarter scoring offense in the NFL, averaging 10.2 points in the second quarter. Sometimes this, they can come off to a slow start.
Yeah.
But they usually turn it around quick. So I've seen Mahomes throw 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. I think he will definitely do that in the Super Bowl. So
I think so too. And I think the only thing stopping that is, God forbid, there's an injury.
Yeah, exactly. If Mahomes doesn't play, then yeah, that looks bad.
Well, it's not that he's okay. You know what? I'm gonna knock
I'm sorry.
Knock on wood
this
here.
This isn't wood, by the way, so.
It's close enough. All right. My next one is gonna be the first scoring play.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna take Chiefs field goal plus 400.
Really?
Yep.
So that's almost. So you think the Chiefs will basically win the coin toss, pretty much?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. If it's Tampa's home stadium, they might just give it to it might be a rigged coin.
Okay. So, I mean, whoever wins it's probably going to defer it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right. So last one I got is distance of longest penalty called over 15.5 yards. And I chose the over, which was plus 100. Tampa Bay, little fun fact, Tampa Bay's offense is the leader in drawing PI calls this season. And it averages over 17 yards per PI call. And the Chiefs are actually in third. They're third most. So they also like to throw down the field. I think that's just literally pretty much one pass interference call that could win that. So I think it's going to happen. I like betting on the refs too. You got to give the refs some love.
You do. Or they'll possibly hate in the circumstance. All right.
Exactly.
My last one is going to be the 400-yard passer.
Oh, wow.
And
you think one of them
so
will
this
throw
bet is if
400?
anybody is going to throw 400 yards.
Okay.
No.
No.
Nope. Playing it safe.
I think I like that too. Because, 380, 360,
It's already an amazing game.
it's a great game.
Yeah.
So I think, at least I hope both teams kind of, implement the run game a little bit, because that's the key to winning Super Bowls.
Exactly.
So another bet too, if people are, looking for an extra one, if you want to bet on the MVP, just pick the quarterback of either team.
Pretty much.
It's a media-driven, accomplishment pretty much. It's
unless Travis Kelce runs 1,000 yards in this game or
true.
something, or
unless
passing.
Tyreek Hill has a 200-yard quarter again, like he did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier this season. But
I don't know, because when was the last time we've seen a Super Bowl MVP besides Ray Lewis? That wasn't.
Did the Broncos?
Peyton Manning, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
There's no way
Maybe Von Miller.
Do you think Mahomes would win MVP if
the Chiefs win? Absolutely.
You're right, Von Miller. He was the Super Bowl MVP.
I'm such a good guesser. I love myself.
Yeah, no, that was kind of I helped you there though.
Yeah. So anyway, go Chiefs. I hope Andy Reid gets that double cheeseburger that he's talking about after the game. Oh, I see. That was an inaudible laugh that you had over there. I saw that. I'm going to say this. My final score prediction is Chiefs 35, Bucks 31.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
What do you think? Doesn't that mean the over? Wait, no, the over's at
the over would hit
56 and a half.
Yep. So 34 to 31 is 65.
I said 35 to 31. Oh,
So 66.
I don't know math.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why we're journalism students.
Yeah, that's why we're in journalism. We're big, not big J yet. But.
My final score prediction, I will satisfy. I will say who I think is going to win. I think the Chiefs will win, and I think it is going to be a 38-28 affair.
38-28. Okay. What if we see like kind of what happened with the Patriots versus the Falcons, like that 28-3 thing? What if that happens where the Bucs are up by like 5 touchdowns and the Chiefs just come back and win like in the fourth quarter?
That'd be pretty sick.
I think so too.
That would inflate your ego.
That's realistic too. That could actually be a possibility.
How badly would that inflate your ego?
I wouldn't stop talking about it.
Are you one of those guys who says, you know, if your team lost or if your team won, you say, we played a great game?
No, I'm not one of those guys.
Good.
And you know what? I don't respect those guys. Because when did you play for them?
I'm going to fact check you on this. I'm going to go listen back to all of our episodes, and if you said the word "we" a single time talking about the Chiefs, I'm going to give you a wedgie.
I'm screwed.
All right,
Don't quote me on anything.
That is our some of our Super Bowl predictions. We're trying to make it last as much as we can. NFL season is going to be over the next time we record this podcast, and we are going to be sad just because it's done. Maybe happy.
Well, at least we get to talk about it still.
Yeah, we'll get to. That's true. We'll have one more week where we get to look at one more
Our favorite
game.
times, our least favorite times. You know what? I think we should do that for next week's show also.
We'll look back at some of our favorite moments from this season.
Absolutely. All right, Brendan. So now that sports is kind of going into a season or like just a period of just kind of like a lot of not really much going on.
Not like playoff.
It's not like playoff or anything like that. So
although college basketball is near
back.
March.
Yep. So we'll get into that too when that time comes. So the show WandaVision has recently come out to Disney Plus, and Brendan has seen it, and I've avoided all spoilers. And I went ahead and
seen episode 1.
Okay, so Brendan and I have both also only seen episode 1.
So we're a little bit behind, probably the average.
A little bit behind, but I'm doing a great job not seeing spoilers.
I mean, I personally haven't looked too much into them.
Right, I just don't think it's on our algorithm. But let's talk about that first episode.
Yeah, so it kind of felt like a drug trip the whole time to me.
It was weird.
It's been a few weeks since I watched the first episode.
Okay. Well, let me fill you in. So basically, it's a 1950s sitcom.
Yeah.
And first of all, Wanda, whoever, I can't remember the actress's name who plays her, but so her accent.
Oh, no, that's the character.
That's the character.
It's Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah. She completely loses the accent right after the movie. Like the first movie she's in, she's got like a super like kind of thicker Eastern.
Well, they're playing the bit, right? I think.
No, like because Paul Bettany still sounds British.
You're right, he does. Yeah.
No, it's the fact that they're playing her off as like European, but she has no accent whatsoever.
Oh, gotcha.
And I thought the style of it looked great, and I thought there were a lot of like really like kind of jokes in there. Like the guy got fired at the office because something happened like a dinner, and like he's just shaming him as he's.
It was just like a ridiculous reason. Yeah. It was a classic 1950s sitcom. It literally was. It was very like it was almost like there was too much satire for me in it, where it was like almost not enjoyable. I was like, okay, there's no purpose to this episode.
There was a lot of like just housewife remarks too.
Oh my gosh, it was definitely like it was brutal.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So one, seeing Paul Bettany look like himself was kind of weird, but that's only because the only other thing where I've seen him play an actual person is Solo. And I actually just watched that movie recently. Yeah. I was like, it's really hard. Like, cause before I saw that movie, I was never able to put like Vision's voice to an actual person's face.
Yeah.
Unless you like did your research.
Yeah.
So, but seeing that, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty sick. And then, I love that like Kitty from That 70s Show was in there too.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I heard the laugh.
The life.
Yeah. As soon as I heard like the like as soon as I heard that, I sprang up in my bed.
I guess we don't want to spoil it too much.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert.
But at the same time, we're episodes behind, and people are even more behind us if they haven't watched the first episode yet.
Yeah.
When I'm just gonna say it, when her husband was like choking on that thing at dinner, and she's just like stop it, Harold, or whatever his name is, some 1950s name. Stop it. He just says, like, stop it for stop it saying, just laughing. And I'm just like, oh my God. I almost turned it off. And I was just like, this is just
too much.
That was the only part of the episode, though, that it was like not just boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was finally you got to see Vision come out and, use his powers. So I have a lot of other things that I'm devoting some of my time to right now, but we're both fans of the Marvel, like the
MCU.
Marvel MCU cinematic universe. Like, we are both big fans of it. So I need to watch it. I think
we're just gonna do like an episode a week pretty much until at least the first season's over. But yeah, I didn't have so many questions about that show. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to like be like its own like spin-off thing from the movies, like if it's not even as if the movies had happened.
We should probably like watch it and catch up.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, well, see, you look like that you saw some spoilers that you don't want to tell me, but you want to tell me.
I promise you I haven't. I've been told that the episodes, do they
just get more effed up? Like,
I heard they pick up, so I mean, that's at least, we got that going for us. But
so I'm excited to keep watching those, I suppose.
Once a week too, so it kind of, gives you a little sense of schedule to your week. I mean, other than me watching The Bachelor.
You watch that?
Oh yeah.
Man, how many girls do you like hang out with like every night, man?
None.
Oh.
But hey, maybe it's my first time watching it. It's my first time sitting down and getting into the season, so maybe it'll turn around for me.
Okay.
That's my hope.
Okay. So Brendan, if we got to give the first episode of WandaVision like a 1 out of 10 rating, what would you give it? Be specific. I don't want like a whole number.
I would give it a 6.9.
6.9.
Yep.
Okay. I would go with a 6.4.
Yeah.
Just because the show was so hyped, and like we both agreed that we got to keep watching.
Yeah,
'cause, I mean, it is still hyped up as a show.
Don't want to draw too many conclusions without, giving it a full chance.
Correct. Yeah. So, but as watching that first episode blindly, definitely 6.4 out of 10.
I think those are both very fair. Maybe I know they released a joint like 2 episodes at first, which I didn't know about, but they did do that. So maybe we should have watched the second one with it. But now we know. And maybe next week we'll try and get caught all the way up. Maybe. When do new episodes get released?
I don't even know, man. I just know Mandalorian was on Fridays.
Friday. I think it is Friday. I want to say it's like
Friday's
a Thursday.
a good time for a show to come out.
It is.
You get off work, you're like, I got to watch my episode today.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like how everybody is definitely looking forward to like Tuesday and Wednesday when this podcast comes out. They're like, oh, hey, it's podcast day. Like,
which unfortunately we have to,
bring it up. Yeah, good.
We have to suspend maybe the Tuesday recordings for now because our schedules are a little busy as we're back in full-time classes. And
Brendan is very sorry, guys. I
am very sorry. I mean, I'm taking a very fat schedule this year in order to try and graduate in the 4 years. So I'm doing it, but that means that unfortunately Tuesdays might not always happen, but we will not miss any week.
Exactly. We're gonna adapt here, but Brendan's okay. So
we're gonna adapt like the Chiefs.
Yes, we're gonna adapt like the Chiefs, but we're gonna move on. Also, I needed to bring up some news that I saw last night. Salento is also canceled.
Salento,
the guy Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay, that guy.
Oh yeah,
killed his cousin.
Wow.
So he got convicted for killing his cousin.
That's not good.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking about this as soon as I heard cousin killing. You've seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Big spoiler from what I'm about to do right now, but there's a scene where like Tyrion, like one of the main guys, is accused of like killing the king, right? And he and his brother are just like going through like all the different types of killings. How there's like literally a word for killing of like every single person except cousin. And I actually did extensive research after reading this. I was like, is there a word for cousin killing? And no, there isn't.
Well, so what's the term for like brother killing?
Fratricide.
Do you know like father killing?
Patricide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Apartheid?
That's of humans, I think. I don't know.
That was just a horrible event, I think, that happened.
Yes, apartheid is canceled.
We're canceling the apartheid.
We're canceling apartheid. But yeah, so I just thought that was a pretty interesting thing to bring up too. I just wanted to do that because there's not a lot where you hear about a cousin killing.
There's not a lot of times you hear about stuff.
You're on crack.
Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our show, though. Brennan, we'll see these people next Wednesday. Go forth in peace to love and serve this podcast and tell your friends.
All right. See you guys.
That shit look like it belong in Fortnite.